In 1974, philosopher Thomas Nagel asked a question that continues to define the study of consciousness. What is it like to be a bat? Modern science can map a bat's brain down to the individual neuron. We can gather data detailing exactly how echolocation pulses bounce sound waves off a moth in midair. But third-person observation hits a wall. Knowing the physics of sonar tells us nothing about what experiencing that sonar actually feels like from the inside. Because consciousness is subjective, we assume a hard boundary exists at the edge of our species, a line that permanently locks us out of the inner lives of animals. This species boundary is a widely accepted starting point for discussing the limits of knowledge. However, using the bat as the most difficult case creates a convenient asymmetry that flatters the human reader. This gradient of access places the unknowable bat on the right and fully understood humans on the left. But if first-person access is restricted to a single subject, the true barrier exists between you and the person next to you. No individual has first-person access to the universal state of being human. You only have access to being one specific subject, governed by local rules and running on your particular biological hardware. This inner reality is isolated. The concept we call humanity is actually a third-person construct. We assemble our understanding of others from the outside by observing their behavioral regularities and using shared linguistic conventions to predict their movements. Our unmediated knowledge ends at the boundary of our own skull, leaving us blind to the genuine inner experience of everyone else. If we are locked out of other minds, how do we hold conversations, navigate through crowded streets, and maintain a functioning society? A murmuration of starlings survives because birds learn the flock's local rules. They predict neighbors' patterns to avoid collisions without needing a central leader. Human interaction functions through the same mechanics. We observe regularities and memorize shared conventions to forecast what other people will do next. This web represents coordination density, a data-rich model of another person's outer behavior. Even as this model grows complex, the opposing circle remains empty. But as our modeling becomes fluent, we project it inward, creating a false glow of understanding inside a hollow core. We mistake the reliability of the model for contact with the thing the model is of. We confuse predictability with intimacy. Re-examining Nagel's bat through this lens changes the nature of the problem. The gradient of access that placed humans closer to us than animals is a product of data volume, not proximity. This chart tracks data volume. The human bar is massive because we share a high density of behavioral data and overlapping heuristics. But the secondary line representing inner access flatlines at 0 for both the human and the bat. Asking, what is it like to be a human, is the same insurmountable question as asking, what is it like to be a bat? It simply runs on a larger dataset. This makes the human case more epistemically dangerous than the bat. We acknowledge our ignorance regarding the bat, yet we rarely question our confidence in our understanding of our friends and neighbors. The illusion of access is most convincing when the behavioral model is well calibrated. We must recognize the fundamental isolation of the subject. The invisible habit of projection often masks the reality of the person we think we know. To see one another clearly, we have to approach the inner lives of other people with the same humility and acknowledged ignorance that we reserve for the most complex mysteries of the physical world.